Carolyn Doobie here. What's the play for today? Well, today I'm answering a question I've been asked by several people, and that is, do I ever make anything ugly? Oh yeah. And today's video is loaded with it. Lots of ugly happening here. Now, at this point, I'm not sure why you want to keep watching the video if I'm telling you what I make is going to be so ugly. Maybe this isn't something I should have put at the beginning. But anyway, what you're going to see are a whole bunch of oopsies, outstanding opportunities presenting suddenly. You're going to see a flood of spray inks, and you're going to see how it was just fun to make the mess. It was just what I needed, because I was in a black kind of mood when it started, and by the end of the play, I was in a much better place. So was part of what I was doing, but part of it, even at the end of this video, is still a big hot mess. So I'm going to take this happy, springy, fun piece that I'm just not feeling right now, and I'm going to put some more layers on it and see where it goes. Because remember, the whole point of what I'm doing today is to kind of shake off this mood. So first thing is a bunch of gesso on here. Now I made this a while ago, and I don't even remember exactly what I used. So as I'm putting the gesso on, I don't know if it's going to mix with the gesso, if it's going to bleed through. No matter what happens, doesn't really matter to me today, because I just need to make a mess and have some fun. Now, spoiler alert here, I am going to make one big ugly mess with this. There are several points at which I could have stopped and it wouldn't be quite so ugly, but this thing right now may be when it looks its best, because it's going to go south from here. Now the gesso is still sopping wet. It hasn't any time to dry, and I put a bunch of gesso on there, way more than I actually needed. And I put a stencil on here. This one's called Speckles and Spots from StencilGirl, and I'm hitting it with some art spray from Marabou. I'm just putting a ton of it on there. So let's see, wet gesso, juicy spray ink, plenty of it on there. It's all over the stencil. And then what am I doing? I'm just smearing it around. My goodness, this is a recipe for one big mess. So I went and grabbed an art journal. I'm trying to find a page in there. And what I'm going to do is clean that stencil off right on the page. That way none of the spraying, none of the goodness, the color of the rainbow gets wasted. Oh, and by the way, if you think any of the techniques that I'm doing in this video are ways to do effective or efficient stenciling, yeah, nope, sorry, that's not what's going to happen in this video. And actually, I need to issue a flash flood warning, because with wet gesso and as much spray ink as I'm feeling the mood to use here, there's a chance I'm going to absolutely flood out this piece of art. Actually, I think we might be past just a chance. We might have actually moved into complete certainty, 100% chance, because that thing is getting wet and juicy. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm loving the art journal page over there, the cleanup stuff, and I have absolutely zero attachment to what's happening on the right. And the fact that I've got so much juicy stuff going on there, yeah, that means it's going to take a really long time to dry. Now, if you've seen many of my videos, you know that patience is not what I'm really known for. So this is going to be interesting how I handle that. Yeah, I wasn't willing to wait. I'm just putting a piece of paper on there. It's deli paper. And the goal here is to just pull up a bunch of the wet stuff, because there were kind of puddles on there. And that way, maybe it will dry a little bit faster. Now you might be thinking, Carolyn, they've invented these things called heat guns. You can get them out, you can then use it on it, and it dries things much more quickly. Yeah, I don't know what my thing is, but I'm not really a fan of using heat guns. And let's set a little logic aside here, because I just pulled up stuff so that it would, say, dry out a little bit faster. And what am I doing? I'm adding more art spray. I'm adding more liquid to this. And wow, it's just, what's the word for it? Not very attractive. That is just one hot mess that's going on there. But wait, there's more hot mess to come. I've had some spray ink there, and I'm just going to mix it in with the gesso and the other colors that were on there. And wow, really? Yeah, that's not adding anything to this right now. The good news is I have zero pressure that I'm going to ruin anything that happens. I've grabbed some art crayons here, and I am just scribbling really loosely all around wherever I have the urge to do it. And the nice thing is the art crayons will write really nicely over the wet gesso because they react with water, so they actually work quite nicely with that. Now remember in the beginning of the video I said I kind of had a blah mood and I was trying to shake that off? Well, about this point in the play, that stuff really shifted. Now I will say this thing is still one hot mess and I'm not in love with it, but I'm having a blast just putting color on here and making marks. So I'm definitely in a different headspace now, and I'm actually going to work on the art journal background there, the one from cleaning up the stencil. I am in love with how that looks, and I'm going to punch it up with some color by just coloring in the circles. No rocket science here, just having fun with one of the art crayons, loosely coloring it in. Now they say hindsight is 20/20, so as I'm coming back and putting the voiceover to this, I can safely say with about 100% accuracy, this is the point where maybe I should have stepped away from this background. Really love how it looks here. This should have been the stopping point. But nope, we're going to jump that shark. We are going to keep on going. And the next thing that I do to it, that is where I kind of went, oops, this is an outstanding opportunity presenting suddenly. So I brought in another art crayon. And I put a little of it there, and I thought, well, maybe it'll be okay. But you know, the moment after you put something on the page, you go, oh, this just isn't going well. Now, what do I do at that point? I keep going. I put it around the entire thing. I guess in for a penny, in for a pound here. Now, to help soften this look, I grabbed the all-important, the versatile baby wipe, and I'm just rubbing that over it, thinking somehow by blending this in a little bit, it's going to make it better. Nope, not at all. Not doing anything to rescue it in my eyes. So what do? I'm going to add another color around the edge. Maybe if I put one of the darker colors on there with some blue in it, that'll make me like it more. No, this would be yet another oops, an outstanding opportunity presenting suddenly. So to those of you that ask me, Carolyn, do you ever make something that's ugly? Here is the proof. This video is the complete and total proof of that. So now's the point where I ask you if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, if you want to see more of this kind of stuff. Now, normally I would say this around a good point in the video where I'm like, wow, they're really enjoying this. They think I really know what I'm doing here. Of course they'd want to subscribe to my channel. Of course they want to get signed up for my newsletter. Because, wow, I clearly know what I'm doing. Except in this video, I don't think I've shown much of that. Pretty much it's been mess after haphazard mess. Yep, this video is basically one big old oops, outstanding opportunities presenting suddenly. And looking at this art journal page, I certainly can't see what the opportunity is yet, but I'm going to keep on going and adding more to it. And just in case you were wondering if I'm carefully thinking through each thing that I'm doing here, the answer is unequivocally no, not thinking through one little bit. You might be wondering, is Carolyn doing some scribble journaling there? No, this time Carolyn's just scribbling. I am absolutely, completely, and totally scribbling on this. And guess what? At that point, I love that page. How funny is it that about the point that I gave up on it is when I did something that I fell in love with? Well, here are the two things that you saw me do in this video. And yep, the one on the left is still wet. That thing is completely flooded. But I'm not going to worry about that because once it's dry, which may be in 3 to 4 weeks, I'm going to add some more layers to it and it'll eventually become something that I love. It just may take quite a few layers. Well, thanks so much for joining me for today's play. I hope you've had as much fun as I have. And of course, if you've been enjoying this video, I'd so appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my oopsies in play, check out my blog at acolorfuljourney.com. Thanks so much for letting me be a part of your colorful journey.